What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another Etheria restart video. Today I want to talk about lattice upgrades, especially because there's a reset event going on currently in the game. If you are new, you actually have two separate resets, and for the rest of you guys like myself, we have 3 free resets that were given to us. It'll last the entire week. As you can see here, it ended 6 days. I've already used 2 myself. And I think everybody should at least use the very first free one. Even if you don't have an immediate plan, the worst that happens is that you'll just rebuild that character. But the nice thing is, if you notice there's a character you have been kind of putting on the side for now, you can go ahead and just reset them if they haven't been seeing a lot of use. And then either use those lattices, those prowess upgrades, the GP stuff into other characters, and then just rebuild that character at a later date. As you do multiple ones, though, of course, it will scale up to 200 and 400. Just like the last event. And if you need extra help, as always, guys, stop by the live streams. We can talk in depth and fully. We can even go over what you might be planning. For example, I went ahead and reset my Rilmocha for a Massiah. Don't worry, guys, Rilmocha is still extremely good for Doki Doki. But since I had a Massiah, I wanted to try and just use him as my main Doki clear. So that I can get back those 4 gold lattices for Rilmocha, and once again, I can choose to rebuild her later if I wanted to. And I think it's been working really great for me personally. And just to catch you guys up, we've had a huge day over on the streams. We have cleared Inferno of pretty much everything except Aurora. We got the Inferno Terramaton, Inferno Doki Doki, and these are fully farmable, very consistent. And we're also breaching into the Inferno Shell Drop farming, guys. So for Nico Nana, I think a lot of y'all, if you haven't even thought of it yet, once again, stop by the live streams. I can help you guys out, but it's very important to get these farms up to date, especially this weekend, because there will be a drop event. Not for shells, but you want to be farming shells this week, and then this weekend we're going to go farm some of those Inferno thresholds that I just talked about, either Terramaton or Doki Doki most likely. But anyways, guys, this video is going to be about the most important lattice upgrades, the mandatory ones, as well as ones you should avoid and put off till later to make the best use of your gold and purple lattices. So thank you so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. All right, guys, let's start with the most important one in my opinion, and one that I've been telling you guys to build in my videos on the streams, and that's going to be Valerian here. And I actually did reset her. I did test out the skill 2, just so you guys know, and I did find it great, but for now, I found it very unnecessary, and I really could use those 4 purple lattices elsewhere. So just a heads up, let's go ahead and start off this video by saying you do not need the S2. And just to get this out of the way, if you guys didn't know, I think picking up these early prowess material upgrades is very worthwhile if your unit allows for it. So supports, these are always good to pick up, just free stats. For Valerian especially, if we're going to use the Artisan Shell here, which scales off the fence to stack these barriers, and I'll go ahead and explain this in just a second. We'll kind of lightning round this. I think they're definitely worth picking up. But let's go ahead and jump into why this video is made. Guys, I think the skill 3 here, or the skill 3 with the maxed out lattice, which is going to give us 1 turn of Hazy Dream, is extremely important and so good. Let me go ahead and just tell you all about this, because it is kind of complicated, and a lot of y'all, if you're like me, your eyes glaze over when there's just so much to read, so many different effects. You just kind of follow blindly, and you know, but I think it is good to understand what this does. And essentially, Valerian, when she casts the Deep Sleep herself, it'll be for 2 turns. And there's a bunch of different effects, right? Which includes things like shield HP, as well as, you know, she'll heal herself, but she's immune to crowd control effects. You'll kind of see her sitting on a special animation. It's like she's sitting on a bubble or some kind of effect. And then anytime an ally takes a turn, they will gain a shield equal to 12% of her max HP, as well as a basic buff effect. This is going to include attack, defense, crit rate, and speed. And guys, this is in order, meaning if you're not using an attack up unit like Freya, if Valerian has the S3 maxed, even if she is the slowest person on your team, you don't need a tune for the attack up. That means like your Massiah, your Rilmocha, once she's going to automatically cast Hazy Dream. Because of this, you don't have to do anything. It's going to be an automatic animation. You've probably seen it in anywhere, but at the start of the battle, she'll cast it. She'll be in Hazy Dream, and then when your allies, your next up units take turns, they will get both a barrier as well as an attack up. And if they already have attack up, whatever, they'll get the next buff in mind, or in the set. And this is absolutely insane. Then you can lead into your 2-turn Hazy Dream with a skill 3 or cast skill 2. But this is why this is the most important thing. And I think this synergizes really well, guys, with a slow Valerian build. I've seen a lot of different builds. I get people ask about my Valerian build all day, and I can tell you about it real quick. Not perfect sets just yet. You can see I haven't even upgraded these. Ignore the Bramble. You can attack while you're in kind of that Hazy Dream mode, but I kind of just had extra stuff, so why not? for 10% defense, and then 25% chance to counter just for fun. It does help a little bit in things like Aurora, but in general it's very useless because she only has 10% chance to sleep, and we don't build effect accuracy on here to double that chance, so it's very minuscule. In general, though, just use whatever you have. You can do health set, defense set. We can always min-max these things later. But for progression, just try to get some mythic gear with HP bonus on the right side. And then I like to stack the defense set because if you didn't know, I think Artisan Pet is one of the best pets in general, but also for Valerian. And these barrier shields that scale off defense will also stack with her own shield that she gets on skill 3. So you can stack up her HP scaling shield and a defense scaling shield. So overall, the video is not really about her build guide, but just to get you guys understanding how this works, this is why this is one of the best abilities in the game for survivability. It'll also give the cheat death mechanic, which I think I forgot to tell you all about. But if you didn't know, when one of your allies is about to die, they stop at 1 health, and then she'll wake up and get a heal, as you guys can see right here. When an ally's about to die, she's healed, and then the hazy dream ends. But all the other stuff that happens, the attack up, the barriers, those all will go through. And I think for these reasons, everybody should have a Valerian built, especially now that we have the lingluo character for free. This will be your dedicated, more sustain healer, and then Valerian will be your utility for the attack up, plus those cheat death barriers. Very, very strong. Everybody builder, and if you spent even $1, you will have her, even if you got unlucky and never pulled her through the summons. Next up, guys, let's just do another SR here. Let's talk about Kazuyo. You might see I do have some points here into skill 1, but don't worry about this. I only got this for Inferno because I wanted the extra speed, as well as the the extra chance for slumber and things like that. But this is definitely not necessary for Health 4, and honestly probably not even necessary for Inferno unless you're going for max consistency. But I do think, guys, for everybody that is trying to clear Health 4 Doki Doki, I think this is going to be extremely important to max out the skill 3 for the minus turn cooldown. Now, slumber chance is also very important to get us to that max 90%, assuming our effect accuracy is up there. And if you guys need to understand how effect accuracy and stuff works, I can make a separate video. It is kind of complicated topic, and it is a little bit difficult to understand. But just for the sake of briefness, is that a word? Let's go ahead and just say that we can double the effect chance of spells landing, assuming we have enough effect accuracy. So I think picking this one up is quite important so that we can hit that 90% threshold. You always have a 10% chance to miss, and that's why some of y'all might experience, even with a ton of effect accuracy, some RNG on not landing your debuffs. But for those reasons, I think these two are going to be extremely important and should be very, very early pickups for your Kazuyo. Kazuyo is a free character you will get from the level 10 box. Everybody will have it. Just don't screw up picking something else. And I think she is very strong and one of the best, if not the best, overall debuffer for Doki Doki. Remember, you need a hard crowd control effect that includes sleep, stun, freeze, silence, provoke, and actually silences seal. But that's just an extra, right? Because we don't really need to talk about that. Just in general, know that you need to have these hard crowd control effects, and Kazuyo is the most consistent in landing them, and she's free, and she's an SR, so everybody should build her, get the skill 3 maxed out. Let's go ahead and just complete the Doki Doki trio here. I do use both Valerian and Kazuyo in Doki Doki, and I said at the start of the video that I did reset Rilmocha, but she was my main clear, and I think she's still one of the best, if not the best, Doki Doki carries for that threshold. So talking about her kit, guys, and unfortunately I did reset, so just trust that I did have this maxed out. I think it is very mandatory to max out the skill 3 in Rilmocha. Just a brief explanation, if you don't understand how this candy attack ability works, it is a little complicated, and there are some weird things that happen because it's like a multi-hit kind of ability that in this game, multi-hits are a little bit, different than other games between chance to crit, and then additionally, Rilmocha needs to land the kill on her initial blast. If she does, though, which is why you can see sometimes the entire enemy wave will pop if you've ever done Doki Doki Threshold and you've watched a replay or you've done it yourself. But if she kills with the initial hit of the candy attack, right, that final, the big blast, not the bonus splash, then she will do bonus damage. You guys can see here, if one of those first 3 hits kills the target, not that extra, she will grant the damage ratio increases to 60%, and then we can furthermore increase that through these enhancements, right? These other ratios are important as well as damage multiplier, and it's very important that she lands the kills so that she can pop the waves. That's really why she's specialized here, especially being a green unit in the Doki Doki threshold. So for those reasons, guys, if you're going to use her, make sure you max her out. not landing the kill to get that bonus splash damage, as well as just doing less damage in general, she's not going to feel nearly as good. Trust me on this. I tried her without it. It felt so bad. And as soon as you max this, you will notice a night and day. Just give her enough damage. Give her a burst shell. Give her just something strong. I like things that give like bonus attack before you attack. So that way she can get, make sure she lands the kill to get the bonus splash. Furthermore, I don't think the skill 2 or the skill 1 are necessary, but for Inferno, if you really like her, you really use her everywhere, I would get some skill 2 and then finally skill 1. But once again, it's really just the skill 3. Now, let's go ahead and talk about another SR here. Let's talk about Diting, which I think every character, or not every character, every player, every one of you guys watching should build this guy. And I'll talk about the mandatory lattices here. In terms of order, I think S2 and S3 are quite close, but in reality, you really need to get both of these at the same time because of their interaction, right? The S2 is going to give him the crit chance overflow. Just understand that when he targets something, he'll get bonus crit chance, as well as giving a passive effect of any bonus crit chance will give him bonus damage, bonus crit damage. And then additionally, his skill 3 is just a insanely powerful nuke, and we want to reduce the skill cooldown as well as get these bonus effects for it. Just extremely strong, one of the highest single target nukes in the game, and the fact that he's an SR and is easy to invest into is crazy. So I think he's way too strong at the moment. I fear for what they'll do in a future balance patch, but don't worry, there's going to be no nerf soon until at least the end of the real-time arena season, the PvP season, so he's safe to invest for now. Additionally, I think the S1 guys is going to be very important, but I think you can skip this very last node. In terms of like this, what this does, you get an extra turn of vulnerable. But in reality, the fact that we don't build any effect accuracy on this guy, and the fact that, what's the chance here? The chance is really not super crazy either, since we're not going to build effect accuracy. Remember what I said earlier? If you have a lot of effect accuracy over your enemy, you can up to double this chance. But since we don't build any here, it's not very reliable. It'll land here and there, but for those reasons, you can save 1 lattice. But make sure you guys get these extra, the non-lattice upgrades like 10% attack. It's going to be very huge. So overall, mandatory to get skill 2, skill 3, and I would say mandatory even to get up to this one here. You need to max out this guy. This his only job is to do damage, and trust me, if you invest into him, you will be rewarded. Now, one further just side note, side tip. You might as well just go ahead and max this out, because there will be a hyperlink achievement later that will make you get a maxed out SR. Okay, so I'll go ahead and show that above. But yeah, let's go on to the next character. Okay, real quickly, I'm going to talk about the dot comps. If you guys are going to use any of the dots, if you haven't heard, these are insanely powerful for Inferno right now for early clears. And some of them do require Lily, some of them don't. Some of them you can place like Obol. Once again, if you need to know the inner workings, either I'll make a separate video, or please just stop by any of my live streams on YouTube or Twitch. I'm live every single day for like 8 to 10 hours, so you'll probably catch me live and we can talk about the teams there. But just in general, let's go ahead and talk about Shadow Sania real quick. If you are lucky enough to have her, and I'm glad I did. I was complaining I had her at the start of the game, and now that we're end, she's one of the best for early Inferno. There will be more classical teams that open up here as we progress, but the fact that Inferno content is so difficult, it's easy, or sorry, it's not easy, but it's nice to have a unit that can kind of trivialize it in the sense that we can just cheat damage through dot effects. It's a little bit of cheesy effect, but it is what it is for now. Just if you do have her, you can start clearing early Inferno content quite easily. There are a lot of alternatives for various things, and when I say a lot, I don't, it's not actually a lot, but there are some. But if you do have dots, I would recommend building them if you want to do early Inferno. But just so you know, guys, max this out, the skill 1 here in terms of the dot damage. All the effects here are extremely, extremely important. And not only that, you might take a look at some of the clears. If you look at their, you look at some Inferno clears, and you'll see people not maxing this out. They probably were able to clear a run once, but it wasn't consistent at all. Take my word for it. If you have the gold lattices, you plan to play dots, which are very good right now in Terramaton, in Inferno Doki Doki. Sorry, excuse me, Inferno Nico Nana Shell Hunt, and then the Inferno Shadow Hoyan, which are extremely crazy. That's how you're going to get your end game shells with 3x3 matrices. And yeah, I really recommend to max this out. Now, Fangus here is another one, guys. I'm about to max the S3, but this part is not mandatory at all, not even the early ones, if you have enough effect accuracy, so go ahead and ignore this wheel. But I think the skill 2 and the skill 1, if you want consistency, are very important. The skill 2 is going to allow him to just add any follow-up attack when your characters, your friendly teammates, your other units cast any damage skills, and he'll have a chance to attack and apply a dot. And the reason why you want to max the skill 1 is because at base, I believe it's like 15%. And remember, with effect accuracy, we can double that to 30, but that's still very low. Instead, if we get to the max one here, we can raise that to 35% chance, and now we're going from 35 to 70. You see how good that is? So I know this is heavy investment, but if you play dots and you want to use fangus, I would recommend both S2 and S1 maxed out. Skill 3, you can skip. Alrighty, y'all. Last but not least, I'm going to shotgun some honorable mentions here. Now, I did just recently upgrade Kloss to max, but trust me on this. Even in Inferno content, you do not need to max this out. I just had some gold lattices, and I really like this character. So for more consistent, like Doki Doki Inferno runs, I decided to max it. But once again, even in early Inferno, even in up to Hell 4, this is not mandatory at all. Save your gold lattices for other stuff until you have some extras. Lily, honorable mention, guys. I didn't want to mention her in the beginning part of the video because not everybody has her. But skill 1 is going to be mandatory. This is the first one you want to upgrade. Increasing the chance of assist 100% is so important for characters like Diting, and for units like Shadow Sania with the dot comp. This is just very important to guarantee you get the assist, the S1 dual attack, pulling your character to do extra damage. Because if you don't max this, it is inconsistent. You could also max the S2, but be careful with Shadow Sania comps, excuse me, because that might mess up auto because of the way you reduce skill cooldown. But other than that, I think this is a great one to upgrade later on, not mandatory by any means. Next up is Freya. Same thing here, guys. She needs 0 skill enhancement, 0 prowess, all the way up to Hell, even in Inferno. And I think for those reasons, this character is absolutely insane. Let's talk about Massiah real quick if you do have him. I think this guy, if you want to commit and do like Inferno, Doki Doki like I'm doing, any other content where you need him to be the main damage dealer, you got to full commit, guys. I would say S3 and S2 first, both about equal. Just choose which one you want between AoE or single target. For Doki Doki, I think S3 is more important. And then, guys, same thing with Diting. You want to get this maxed out as well eventually, especially if you use Lily. And you can skip the last two, or the last one, for those reasons I talked about in Diting. But make sure you get all of these extra passives that give attack. Last but not least, what else should we talk about here real quick? Lingluo, 0 investment needed, guys. Holden, 0 investment needed if we're just talking for the strip for Inferno Termaton. For the strip for Aurora, I really don't think anything is necessary there either. You can build that up later if you need to. Shiata, guys, I've heard from my Shiata players, skill 3 and skill 2 are both very important. So get those both equally if you use her in Doki Doki. And I don't have Rosa here, but I'll go ahead and pull her up. Rosa is another one, chat. I'm not going to talk about it specifically. I said chat, I mean YouTube. But just understand, guys, those of you that are new and are watching, characters like Rosa you might see on a tier list are very high rated, but they require extremely high investment. I'm talking minimum, probably every single skill up, which is going to equal to 12 gold lattices, right? Level 5 and everything, that's 4 gold lattices each. That's going to be quite a lot. So be careful investing in these characters. All right, guys, we'll go and wrap things up there. If you have any additional questions on lattices and where to go from there, like to do additional stuff once you have everything baseline, then once again, if you can, stop by the stream so I can talk to you in real time. And yeah, we'll go and wrap things up here. Thank you so much as always, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.